Hey there, welcome back to another episode. This is Coach Troy with Tate Fitness, and today I wanted to talk about Turinabol, also known as T-ball, chemically known as chloral dihydromethyltestosterone. Now, what is T-ball? What is Turinabol? Well, it's a derivative of testosterone, and it's also a methandrostenolone derivative, also known as Dianabol. So it's a Dianabol derivative as well. The Eastern Germans' secret weapon or secret ingredient that they use on their athletes about the history of Turinabol. So patented in 1961 and then released into the market in 1965 by Genopharm, a pharmaceutical company. It's an East Germany product, like I said and just mentioned. It was solely made for the sole purpose of sports performance and mainly for the Olympic Games or the Olympic athletes in the two sporting events, which is swimming and for the gymnastic athletes. And they use Turinabol because of the lower aromatase enzyme that's associated with it. And they called Turinabol baby D-ball or D-ball's little brother. Now, this anabolic androgenic steroid was the only compound that I know of, that I've ever heard of actually, that was only made for athletes, okay? It wasn't really made for medical uses. They constructed this drug for that sole purpose of dominating the Olympic Games and the World Championships in the 1960s, okay? That's why these East Germany, as far as the East German rule, and they actually came out with a rule or legislation called Rule of 14.25, a code of anything goes. Let's grab the best scientists that we can have and formulate a strong team to dominate the world in sports events, mainly, like I said, gymnastics and swimming. And that's what they did. They used a totalitarian sort of aspect and made ranges of 12, 13-year-olds all the way up to like 20-year-olds in their sports performance teams to take Turinabol as a drug, as a compound. And they lied to a lot of these athletes and said they were taking multivitamins. But not only Turinabol, these guys use, and girls, I should say, multitude of different drugs and pharmaceuticals. We're talking maybe 15 different drugs. Now I'll go on to some of the pharmacology and chemical structure of Turinabol. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a derivative of testosterone and a derivative of methandrostenolone, which is Dianabol. And it's also in combination with another steroid, a weak anabolic androgenic steroid called Clostebol, which is 4-chloral-testosterone. So chemist named Albert Stachowiak, I believe his name is, made this compound of Clostebol and Dianabol and put it together. 4-chloral-testosterone, which would be on the fourth carbon, is basically what the molecular structure would be for the fourth carbon atom. And then the Dianabol, which is a double bond between carbon 1 and carbon 2, associated with, so those compounds put together in that molecular structure formula created the Turinabol, which brought the lower of the anabolic and androgenicity or androgenic components. So brought that threshold down to like a 0 or a 6 on the androgenic scale. But like I said earlier, it's still slightly androgenic because it does cause suppression, but it helped these athletes with athletic performance, along with a 16-hour half-life of Turinabol. So it went through, it's a C17 methyl alkylated steroid due to the oral component. So methylation, meaning how it's methylated, how it's digested and skips first pass, goes into the liver, tumbles in the liver like drying some laundry for 16 hours. So it's a long time staying into the system. So you can already imagine the pros and cons of this drug. Turinabol is also half as anabolic as testosterone, arbitrarily speaking, on paper. So half as anabolic and a lot less androgenic due to that lower version of 5-alpha reductase as far as steroid metabolism goes. So, even though it has that lower binding affinity to 5-alpha reductase, like I was talking about, it does significantly suppress sex hormone binding globin, which is SHBG. So it lowers and drops that SHBG down, and it increases free testosterone levels and frees up more testosterone circulating in the body. So in that aspect, it gives that competitor or that Olympic athlete that was taking it, or say a bodybuilder or a powerlifter taking it, freeing up that testosterone gives you that clear euphoric feeling, that more feeling sense of well-being, I should say. So it does help that vector out and that issue. But the problem is long-term use of this oral component and suppressing sex hormone binding globin, you're also going to suppress total testosterone too, as well, if you keep going with that. So double suppression of sex hormone binding globin along with total testosterone will end up causing problems of suppression. These are some of the benefits of Turinabol: dry lean gains, new contractile tissue without holding water because it doesn't aromatize. Those are the good things. Now the bad things, okay? Now the side effects. Big side effects is crushing your lipid profile, okay? Really bad on the cholesterol profile. So cardiovascular issues, okay? Which has to do with your heart. So suppressing HDL, your good high density lipoproteins, just dropping them down to the single digit mark if you're on Turinabol for too long, and skyrocketing LDL. That's not what you want to do. Those are really bad things, okay? ASIH possibly because of suppression, which is anabolic steroid-induced hypogonadism. Some people that take Turinabol only cycles, or they want to try to use Turinabol since it is a testosterone derivative, as far as testosterone therapy, is not going to work, okay? Even though it's mild, using this for a long period of time is going to cause suppression, hypothalamus pituitary testicular axis, like I said, anabolic steroid-induced hypogonadism. It's going to cause problems with liver toxicity and hepatotoxicity. People have gotten parts of the liver actually removed. Endothelial lining damage of the endothelial arteries, okay? Lining of the arteries due to that staying that methylated system, the C17 methyl alkylation, staying in the liver, tumbling through the liver for 16-hour half-life, okay? So the problem with that would be with the endothelial linings creating plaque buildup. Plaque buildup in the arteries, making those arteries work way harder than they are. Can cause a stroke, can cause other bad issues. It'll make that heart work a hell of a lot harder, okay? If the heart has to work hard, the heart's a muscle too. So anything that's a steroid component that's an anabolic steroid and making that heart work extra hard due to, like I said, damage to the lining of your arteries or such forth, is going to cause LVH, left ventricular hypertrophy, okay? And too much hypertrophy of the heart is going to cause cardiomyopathy in some bad cases. Now, I'm talking rare cases here, okay? It doesn't happen to everybody, but there are candidates that have taken Turinabol for 2, 3, 4 years straight, have never came off, and they're running into these slew of issues. So user, definitely beware, be careful. Get your blood work done. Know what your blood levels are. Get all your panels done before you start any kind of steroid or anabolic or androgenic steroid cycle. Anything endogenous that your body doesn't already naturally produce, okay? Meaning anything outside the body that you're putting in, get your levels checked. Make sure you're healthy. Make sure you're a candidate for taking an anabolic or an androgen or any kind of steroid like that. And like, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not condoning any of this kind of stuff. I'm not telling people, hey, if you have great healthy blood panels, go get your Turinabol, which doesn't exist anymore because they stopped making it in 1994. But anyways, generic UG versions are made of all these freaking drugs, okay? So be careful of the efficacy because not many of these drugs are efficacious, okay? And they're deleterious in that matter to where they're gonna cause damage due to how underground they are and how fake they are. You don't even know what you're even putting in your body. So definitely be careful, okay? But anyways, contact me, the email below. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good, fantastic rest of your day. Take care. Thanks for watching this video and see you guys soon. Bye-bye.